And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for supporting our program. We greatly appreciate you here. All those that reach out and support our 80 different categories of consumer advocates. We've got 50-plus show partners here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors. Reach out to the program, 813-917-1894. You can call or text that line. And we got a great lineup for you today. Doug Levi, Anthony Rickman, and Fred DeFelice on the program. We're going to talk about a little bit about water quality here in the Tampa Bay area. We're going to catch up with Rickman Law Firm as well, and he is going to bring us up to speed on some of the popular criminal defense cases out there. And Doug Levi is going to talk about, another one bites the dust, another major insurance carrier biting the dust, going belly up, 185,000 policies. How's that going to impact you and your family and your local economy? So we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show is for you. Check out our podcast as well, Spotify, iTunes, Consumer Quarterback Show podcast out there, and consumerqb.com. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air. If you're thinking about selling a property, you're leaving money on the table if you don't list with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty. A hot listing here at 6361 US Highway 301 South in Riverview. This is in East Hillsborough County. Beautiful property, corner lot, commercial property, and it's great income capacity, future earning, and a great opportunity here. Currently operating as a U-Haul dealership, and it has an office space. In the back, you've got more of a storage/mechanics workshop. All fenced in, corner lot, beautiful property, 50,000 vehicles a day passing by at 6361 US Highway 301 South in Riverview, Florida. Great location, 0.81 acres, $1.7 million listing of ours. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Also, 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. It's a $1 million listing, residential property, gated community in Carrollwood, just reduced down to $975. Spiral staircase up to the second floor, 5,200 plus square feet, granite countertop, new appliances, pool, heated spa, fenced in corner lot, and a gorgeous home at the Estates at White Trout Lake right here in Tampa Bay. Hot listing at 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Doug Levi on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Strategic Insurance Services. Welcome back to the program, sir.
Brandon, great day in Tampa Bay. Always good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so another one bites the dust. Policies, the insurance. This has been an interesting time for insurance companies, man. Big time.
You may want to call me the insurance grim reaper. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we're coming up on the fall. I hate to say that, but yeah, this is just the state of where we're at. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more bite the dust before the end of the year, or certainly early next year. So this is a really big one. This is United Property and Casualty Insurance, not to be confused with Universal Property and Casualty Insurance. Universal Property and Casualty is the largest insurer in the state. Their ratings got reaffirmed. They appear to be in good stead. Nonetheless, United Property is still a large carrier. They were a top 10 carrier, and they are non-renewing all policies in Florida, which is about 185,000 policies. They're also canceling policies in Louisiana, Texas, and New York. So that's a really big one. Again, we always look for just practical takeaways for our listeners out there. If you're driving around and you're like, United sounds familiar, you should absolutely give us a look. You can reach us at tampabayinsurance.com and live chat with one of our team members, and we're happy to assist you in trying to find new coverage.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you're not, I would suggest getting a review. How long has it been since you've looked at your current policy? Have you had a review lately? Do you have the appropriate writers? I know these days too, Doug, there's a lot going on in the digital space, in that electronic space for insurance as well.
There's no doubt. Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of cyber liability, and we work with business owners and even individuals to make sure they have the proper protections on data breach and cybersecurity, right? Identity theft protection, all of those things are really, really big. A lot of carriers will include some of that coverage actually on your homeowners. So, yeah, those are all big things to consider. And, again, the other thing I want to mention, Brandon, especially just the time of year we're at right now is, and it's been a very, thank God, it's been a quiet hurricane season. We did not have a named storm in August, which I think was the first time in quite some time.
Yeah, 1941, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That was no named storm. But now would be the time where things are likely going to start to heat up, no pun intended. I know there's a couple areas in the tropics that they're kind of eyeing that could potentially turn into storms. So, just from a protection, preparedness standpoint, now's the time to think, do I have 3 days of food and water? Do I have all my critical documents in a place or online where I can reach them? Do I have fresh batteries for my flashlights? Basic hurricane preparedness, I would definitely recommend to our listeners out there, don't be the person last minute who's, walking the aisles of Publix and there's no water left if a big storm comes. So good time of year to really make sure you're getting prepared.
Yeah, right on point. Doug Levi here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Strategic Insurance Services. And I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show on 80 outlets worldwide, iHeartRadio, 102.5 The Bone, 860 The Answer. Got our TV show on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku. And, of course, our YouTube channel is very popular as well. 1,700 videos on our YouTube channel. We've been on air almost 10 years now here in Tampa Bay. Doug is our expert contributor for all things insurance. Doug, give an overview too, because insurance, there's property and casualty out there. There's a lot of different types of insurance.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we talk so much on the show, obviously, Brandon, about homeowners just based on what's going on in the marketplace. But yeah, I mean, we help people with every other type of insurance other than homeowners, right? So that could be you're a business owner and you need workers' comp or general liability or business auto for your commercial vehicle, or certainly all the other personal insurance for people. It could be your auto, it could be flood insurance, a liability umbrella. Maybe you have a vacation rental or some vacant land somewhere. And then we also do life and health insurance. So we're big believers in making sure that families are properly protected, and we make recommendations, hopefully, that are going to protect them and their family in the event of an unfortunate event. So that could be everything from disability insurance, which means, hey, I get hurt, I can't work any longer. You think of the classic Aflac-type commercials you see. We help people on both the business or commercial level, whether that's a small business owner securing coverage like that, or if you're an individual and you're just an individual, you don't work for a large business that perhaps provides those types of benefits, and you need or want disability insurance or mortgage protection insurance. We have tons of different options in that area.
Yeah, and flood insurance is another issue that people have questions about. So again, let's get that review with Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, 813-917-1894. Just text the word review to our hotline, 813-917-1894. And when you think about economic conditions too, man, I think there's a lot going on there. I always like to do a little bit of prognosticating here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm going to play a quick clip here. We know inflation's going through the roof. We know a lot of stuff happening, but we've got a vulnerable economy when you think about precious metals. Quick clip here.
How vulnerable right now on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being extremely, 1 being not a problem, are we to the CCP now that they're all over Bagram Air Base? How exposed are we on rare earths, and how vulnerable is the U.S. economy to the CCP cutting us off right now on rare earths?
Well, the biggest threat is if they flex up and do something in Taiwan, then that literally shuts down about half of the U.S. economy, right? You're not going to make a car. You're not going to make a machine. Anything that requires anything computing is not really made in America anymore. We need to localize a lot of that or get it into friendly countries. So we're most exposed in Taiwan. And it comes to Afghanistan, it's a massive opportunity cost because we put so much blood and treasure into the place, and to have it just abandoned and lost for nothing is the height of irresponsibility.
Yeah, so, you think about American blood, sweat, tears, and fortune, and lives lost. We got to return back to this Made in America mantra. But, yeah, that's a big deal. Rare earth metals, the precious metals, it's cell phones, it's, F-150s, it's vehicles, it's cars, it's electric cars. There's a lot going on there, Doug.
No doubt. I mean, I think it goes back to the classic saying, "Made in America." Right? There was great pride in that statement, and we are such a blessed land and so much opportunity here. I just as a citizen and a patriot, I would love to see us less dependent on China and East Asia and other parts of the world, and know that we, from even a defense standpoint and positioning, that we're not dependent on them. Right? I mean, it's a bad place to be. So I certainly hope our leadership would adopt more policies that would have Made in America and an emphasis on us sourcing and using, the classic drill baby drill. Right now, it's unfortunately the current administration does not think along those lines. I'll also add, Brandon, this may be funny. So, it's kind of talking all these things, and there's a big push for electric cars. Nothing against electric cars, but California just came out and said by 2035, no more carbon-based cars. I don't know if you heard that, or seen that, but just yesterday it was reported that they are telling people not to plug your electric cars in their homes because their power grid can't sustain it.
That's
okay,
exactly
now
right.
follow the logic there with me, right? So we don't have the energy to power these electric cars at our home because our electric grids are old and broken. So again, it's just some of these things are laughable.
Well, here's something too to add to that. When you think about the amount of fuel that goes into creating a lot of these these renewables, these renewable, even the big windmills, etc. But here's what's needed for a single battery, according to Roger McGrath from Tucker Carlson. 30 pounds of lithium. Again, what is needed for a single battery? 30 pounds of lithium, 60 pounds of cobalt, 130 pounds of nickel, 90 pounds of copper, 190 pounds of graphite, and roughly 500 pounds of steel, aluminum, manganese, plastics, and other materials.
Yeah, you got to laugh, right? And I think I've heard along the similar lines that all this push for clean energy and electric cars, the actual mining that you just alluded to of trying to get the raw materials is one of the worst things for the environment, right? So,
yes, exactly.
Again, just the irony in some of this, and I'm not against electric cars. If people have them out there, I get that. But, the common sense and balance in our country anymore just seems to be far off, right? And it's very tone deaf when the Democrats and the left want to look at us and say, well, just go out and buy an electric car. Well, not everyone's in a position to spend $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 on an electric car. So it's, again, just trying to get back to common sense, practical principles. I think would be certainly welcomed for a lot of Americans.
Yeah, made in America. Let's make it here. I thought we got a glimpse of that when COVID hit, and we didn't have a lot of the essentials. But also, on the electric vehicle thing, it like you mentioned, it's ruinous to the land, water, wildlife, and people. As far as production of raw materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel, ruinous for the land, water, wildlife, and the people. Again, that was from Tucker's segment. Very, very bad for the economy and for the environment. And for the people that live in those areas, once you mine it out, that land is really demolished. It's pretty bad shape. And I would pay a little bit more for Made in America, whether it's a T-shirt, jeans, medicals, 100%. Whatever it is, we would pay more for it.
I totally agree with that. I would 100% pay more. And I know, and again, not trying to just be the angry man shaking his fist at the rain, if you will, but so much stuff is made overseas, and I notice so much of it is just cheap quality, right?
Yeah.
Like you buy stuff and, stuff shows up on Amazon boxes or whatever, and the quality is just not there. And I do think that when you get something that's sourced and made in America, that the quality is certainly a lot better than a lot of other parts of the world.
That's right.
And to your point, I would rather pay a little bit more. And you could probably even make the case that if it lasts you longer in the long run, you may be saving money than buying something cheap but having to replace it in, depending on what it is, a year, a few years, or whatever. So I guess a lot of life, Brandon, how you look at things,
That's right. All right, we got Doug Levi here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check him out online, TampaBayInsurance.com, Strategic Insurance Services. And we talked about the homeowners market, what's happening there. Policies are, these carriers are going under one after the other. We've talked about on our series of updates as far as that goes. And today he was announcing another one, $185,000 policies, 185,000 policies rather, gone. So Doug Levi, how can folks find you, and how would you, final thought?
Yeah, absolutely. Final thoughts is, buy American. I love some of our conversation. Doesn't have anything to do with insurance necessarily, other than I'm an American and here locally. So, and then, check us out, www.tampabayinsurance.com. Easy to remember. You can live chat with us. Or if you want, you can call us 866-INS-0123. 866-INS, short for insurance, 0123. And we'd love to help you out and give you a review.
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Appreciate the nuggets, man.
Awesome. Always good being here. God bless everyone.
God bless. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right, taking a quick break. Coming back, criminal defense attorney Anthony Rickman in studio, Rickman Law Firm. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, all the major sites at Brandon Rhymes1 or at Brandon Rhymes PA. And, of course, Consumer Quarterback Show. Download our podcast on iTunes and Spotify. We'll be right back after the short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text, complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Got a property, brand new listing at 1618 West De Leon Street. This is in South Tampa, close to Irish 31 Bar down there, close to Hyde Park Village. 1618 West De Leon Street in South Tampa. Beautiful palace, Mediterranean palace here. You got 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2.5 bath, I believe. 1,635 square feet, 2-car garage, open floor plan, beautiful property, vaulted ceilings, gorgeous. And the inside there, you got the granite and, of course, wood countertops. Granite countertops, wood cabinets, that is. Beautiful property, 1618 West De Leon Street in Tampa. One of our hot listings here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Yeah, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bath property here in Tampa Bay, 3,000 plus square feet. All right, you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, attorney Anthony Rickman in the house, criminal defense attorney. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, my pleasure. All right, so let's jump right into it. Mar-a-Lago seems to be the biggest topic lately. You know, it's continuation of this overreach. I mean, it would have never happened to the 33,000 emails for Clinton. You know, it's again, we keep talking about similar stuff. It's the dual levers of the different systems, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the weaponization of the federal government and the FBI. I mean, that's what they're characterizing it, the Trump people are characterizing it, and it begs the question, why are we here with Trump and we never went there with Hunter Biden? Why are we here with Trump? We never went there with Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
We didn't go there with Fast and Furious. There's a lot of things where we didn't go, where people said, hey, you know what? He's out of office, new administration, let's move on. We don't see this with Trump.
Right.
And I think a lot of it, I'd say Trump brings it upon himself, but Trump hasn't gone away. You have people like Obama, whose president's term's over. He's backed away. Hillary Clinton, to some extent, she's gone away. Hunter Biden, obviously, is the son of the President of the United States. We know what's happening there.
Yep.
But Trump's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you see, Trump's power influence on the Republican Party, his power and influence on the right,
yep,
he is a threat. He remains to be a threat to the establishment that we have right now. So, what better way to eliminate that threat than to go after that threat for criminal action? That's what we see here.
Yeah.
But it's not to say that Trump's completely have clean hands here. If you believe what the government's saying, they try to get these documents back. They tried to engage him in communications to retrieve these documents. He refused to do it, and then they went nuclear, no pun intended, and sent in the FBI to go into the president's home.
Wow.
And retrieve documents unheard of in the history of our country.
So allegedly they asked for him, he didn't give them back, and that's why they went in.
Yeah, there was alleged communications between the National Archives, between the government, between Trump's people, Trump's lawyers.
Yeah.
They were under the impression that he had turned everything over.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to give you everything. Never happened. They were done waiting, so they went in.
Wow.
And that's what led to it. When you look at what we see here, the releases, what we don't have is a full affidavit, obviously.
Right.
And the reason is because somebody, most likely internal, was providing information to the government, what's there, where it's located at, and the nature of the criminal allegation behind the warrant. So we see a partial affidavit released. We see the warrant. We know what they were looking for.
Right.
And we know the crimes that they are looking to allegedly be investigating. And one of the biggest issues I think Trump's going to have is that obstruction. The obstruction of justice that's far-reaching. That obstructing a federal investigation is a far-reaching charge that we see in our federal system a lot. It's false statement to government officials. It's preventing the government from conducting their job or doing their investigation, particularly the federal government, the FBI, in this particular situation. So we see the obstruction. Then we see the possession of the top secret documents. I know his defense is going to be, look, they're declassified. Doesn't mean you can still have them at a unsecure location. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out and if the DOJ does actually go forward and try to indict a former president.
Yeah, and look at also what happened. We got Anthony Rickman here in studio. Anthony Rickman's local criminal defense attorney, Rickman Law Firm. You look at also the recent speeches from Biden, the uniter in chief, right? He's such a uniting body, and he's calling half the country fascist. I mean, it's just unbelievable to see where we're at in this country right now.
We live in a new world where if you disagree with a certain subsect of a population, and that subsect's in power now, the Democrats, the liberal views, if you disagree, you're automatically characterized as a fascist.
Right.
You're characterized as anti-American, anti-progress. No. We live in a country where we should be able to disagree with the people in power. People disagree with Trump, and they were allowed to disagree with Trump. But now, I was watching something. There's a TV star actress. Her mom had a MAGA hat on, or something looked like it, and she got doxxed all over Twitter because why? Because somebody had a belief different than the majority, different than people in power, and the rhetoric coming from the other side goes unchecked.
Right.
When someone from
it's okay for them to say it.
It's okay to say it. Someone from the from who's in power, the president himself, MSDNC, anybody says, hey, you're a right winger, you're automatically a fascist, you're a racist, you support Trump. Well, no.
Yeah.
Not everyone who disagrees with you, who believes in what conservatives believe in, smaller government, greater rights, without the government, individual freedom, and not having the government tell you how to raise your children, your kids, or how to live your life, the right to possess a gun, the right to carry a firearm, the right to protect yourself. What we as conservatives believe in doesn't necessarily mean what they want, what they're characterizing the right to believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they get on TV and lie about it, and they have these fake dossiers, and they keep making up lies to, it's almost like what the exact opposite of what they say is happening too. It really is true. When we come back, more with Anthony Rickman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk about January 6th as well. A lot of the protests are still locked up. I want to ask you about any local stories as well happening here in Tampa Bay. Criminal defense attorney Anthony Rickman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check us out online, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We are in studio here with Anthony Rickman. He's criminal defense attorney here in Tampa Bay, the Rickman Law Firm right here in Tampa Bay. We're going to touch on this Andrew Warren being removed as state attorney from Hillsborough County. DeSantis removed him. We're going to get Anthony's opinion on that and from our legal analyst. But before we do, 9221 New York Avenue, one of our hot listings here in Tampa Bay, vacant land, build and develop commercial development opportunity, industrial commercial at 9221 New York Avenue. This is a $2.7 million listing of mine. Great opportunity. You got 30 acres right here in Hudson, and it's in Pasco County Opportunity Zone. Attention builders, developers, entrepreneurs, great opportunity, 9221 New York Avenue in Hudson. You can see all of our listings, platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
And yes, you can buy dirt. We got about a dozen other vacant land listings as well. All right, Anthony Rickman here in studio. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And yeah, so that was big news, right? So yeah. DeSantis basically he has the power as a governor to say, hey, look, you're not doing your job right. You're not enforcing the law as it's written. You're not defending the Constitution. And so he just reaches down and removes Andrew Warren.
Yeah, unprecedented. We see the wave across the country, San Francisco, other major cities where you had Soros-backed liberal state attorneys elected.
Yep.
And we saw what happened here. DeSantis, believing that Andrew Warren wasn't following the law, removed him as our sitting state attorney. And look, when you talk about things that affect us locally, this has one of the biggest effects locally on us as a community.
Yeah.
When you see the governor standing there at a press conference supported by the sheriff of Hillsborough County, who worked hand in hand with Andrew Warren,
Chad Chronister.
You see Chief Dugan, the former police chief, up there supporting the governor's removal of the state attorney. It speaks volumes for how they felt about how this office was being run.
Right.
And the main issues for DeSantis were the issues that I think are his most problematic when attempting to have Andrew Warren removed permanently, because ultimately now it's up to the court, because Andrew Warren filed a suit to prevent his removal. And the two issues that DeSantis really hung on to was, number one, he wasn't going to prosecute. Andrew made a statement saying he would not prosecute any doctor who does transgender surgeries, and would not prosecute anybody who violated the abortion bans in Florida. The problem the governor has, is that those prosecutions didn't occur yet. The abortion law isn't even a written law now. And what Andrew Warren is saying is that's my First Amendment right. He's saying that he has the right to say and believe what he's going to do, but he's still going to evaluate the case on a case-by-case basis. The larger issue, and the issue I think the governor is stronger on, is going to be Andrew Warren's refusal to prosecute certain types of crimes. Mm-hmm. His refusal to prosecute trespassing cases and businesses. His refusal to prosecute misdemeanor cases. His refusal to prosecute resisting without violence, what he considers to be minor crimes, and his refusal to his policy of non-prosecution of individuals stopped on bikes for bike stops. So the big issue we heard about in Tampa is that the study suggests that the targeted bike stops are targeting African Americans on bicycles.
Right.
And there was a policy of non-prosecution of those particular cases. And the governor, in his motion to remove Andrew Warren, was strong on that, saying that you can't have a policy of non-prosecution. It's a policy of not following the law. And as elected state attorney, you're required to follow the law.
Right.
And the governor, and those are going to be the issues that are going to be up in the court if the court takes it. Because really, our Florida Constitution has it laid out where the remedy is going to the Senate. And we know in our conservative Senate, as it is now, they're going to back DeSantis.
Right.
So ultimately, you're most likely, if the courts deny it, it's going to go to Senate. And ultimately, I think the Senate's going to wind up upholding the removal of Warren, making it permanent. And Susie Lopez, who's now our state attorney, will become our permanent state attorney.
Yeah.
And right now she is our permanent state attorney.
Yeah, and it's when these DAs and these state attorneys, you got a criminal broke the law. I mean, the worst cases are in California, New York. You've seen those where and let's say for the New York bodega owner. So the guy comes in, you saw that video. I mean, I think everybody did. He defends himself, stabs him, it's like you're cheering for that guy at that point. You're like, hey, good. That's what the guy gets for coming in and breaking into his business and going behind the thing. And but that in part two is it emboldens them now. So these criminals are emboldened to do these types of things. I mean, you see the videos in New York too where they just flat out cold cock Asians for the black guy hitting the Asian guy. I mean, and it's ridiculous too how it's always a race thing. I mean, it shouldn't be that, but that's what the media, the corporate-owned liberal media, has turned it into. Yeah,
look, I mean, as a criminal defense attorney, obviously I want the best for my clients. People are hiring me to get them a good result.
Right.
But as a citizen, obviously, you want to keep your streets safe. So for me, when I represent my clients here in Hillsborough County or in any county, I'm trying to get the best result possible. A lot of times that result is, what the public doesn't want. That's what I'm paid to do.
Right.
Criminal defense attorneys are a lot like cops. No one likes them until you really need them.
Right.
It's like I tell my officer friends all the time. It's like, look, everyone has something bad to say about us until you need us. I mean, who do you call when someone's hurting you? You call the police. Who do you call when you get arrested by the police? A criminal defense attorney.
Right.
So for me in my profession, my goal is to get the best result for my client.
Yeah.
And no matter who the state attorney is, no matter what the policy of that office is, if they've been arrested, then I'm going to provide them with the representation to get them the best result, whether that be going in front of a jury and making the state prove the charges beyond reasonable doubt, or getting a plea deal that puts them in a much better position than they were when they got arrested.
Yeah. And I think a large percentage of the cases end up playing out, don't they?
Most of them do. And, most of them do because the prosecutors are reasonable. Most of the clients, when they see the evidence, law enforcement a lot of times does get it right. A lot of times they don't. And when they don't, with my cases, I'm very proactive. I get with the prosecutors, show them the problems of their case before they have to pay for a trial, before they have to risk. Look, you can put a defendant in front of a jury and you never know what's going to happen. 6 people in a room are going to decide what piece of evidence they're going to latch onto. In my experience, what I do for my clients is get in early.
Yeah.
Get in and show the prosecutors the problem with the case. I had a conversation with the prosecutor this morning. I was able to get a very serious charge dropped before we got to even the point where they filed a formal charge. After providing them with the mitigation, although law enforcement may have had probable cause to arrest, at the end of the day, after I got involved and showed the prosecutor all the problems with their case, they knew there wasn't a reasonable likelihood of a successful prosecution.
Right.
So they filed the charge or didn't file an information.
And earlier the better for them also, for you and them, because now they're not as dug in. They're not married to that decision as much.
Without a doubt. It's much harder for a prosecutor after they file the charge to drop it or reduce it.
Right.
It's much easier to go in the front end. Not easier. It's hard. More for me.
It's tough.
It's front end. But it's better for a prosecutor to say, hey, I'm not going to charge this case.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they're going to say, well, if you charged it, you try it.
Yes.
That's what the supervisor says.
Right.
If I can get in and say, hey, don't charge it. You shouldn't have charged it, and here's why.
Yes.
And it works in both the state or federal system.
Yeah.
In state court, there are circumstances law enforcement come out to your house to do an investigation. Oh, no, you haven't been arrested. You think you're clear. You're not.
Right.
They're still doing their investigation. You got to call me. Call me right away so I can get with the prosecutor, the detective. In the federal system, you get a target letter saying you're getting subpoenaed for a grand jury or the target of a federal investigation. Don't wait for that arrest. Call a lawyer right away. Call me. Let me get involved with the prosecutor to avoid you being indicted, to avoid you being charged criminally in state court as well.
And then just on that note as well, like if something along those lines happens, the more you say, the more that can be potentially twisted, used against you, right? So just basically talk to the attorney before you do anything.
Yeah, look, when they read your Miranda, anything you say can and will be used against you. What that means is that even if you think you're helping yourself, you're not.
Right.
Because it will be used against you. Law enforcement has a theory. The prosecutors have a theory. No matter what you say, they're going to phrase that statement to support their theory of prosecution.
And they can lie to you, too.
Right? I
remember learning that somewhere, right?
Look, I had a detective in deposition. Isn't it true you lied about this, this, and this? He flips the table over, gets mad at me, and says, the Constitution of the United States says I can lie whenever I want.
Wow.
And it's true. They can lie during interrogations. They can lie during investigation. They're not under oath.
Wow.
And there's no obligation.
So it's like a means to the end. So they think the means, no matter what, if I get to that guilty plea or whatever, that's the end.
For them, they're building a case. They're building evidence. I had a case recently. The officer calls my guy in to be interrogated, and it's a Miranda. I say, hey, look, I wouldn't have talked to you if we were on the streets. I just got to talk. They're trained to get what they want.
Right.
Law enforcement is trained in interrogation techniques.
Yeah.
Okay, you get bees with honey. They make you think you're a friend, but at the end of the day, You think you're helping yourself, but you're really not. I can't tell you how many cases I have where my client's like, oh, I was cooperative. I told him everything I knew. I didn't think he was going to arrest me if I was honest. No, you just incriminated yourself, and now they have a stack of evidence and your statement to support it.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony Rickman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, criminal defense attorney here in Tampa Bay, the Rickman Law Firm. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Real quick, I want to get into the January 6th because, speaking about defending yourself, these folks have been locked up for, I think it's about, 18 months now. Solitary confinement, a lot of them. There's rumors that they're getting harassed by the guards. January 6th protesters still locked up for this make-up story. Donald Trump offered to give 20,000 National Guards, but the Democrats and Pelosi said, no, we don't need him. We don't want him.
Yeah, well, we see the first set of the big trials starting soon. The seditious conspiracy trials with the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. The Oath Keepers particularly. That trial is about to kick off in October, and it's going to be very interesting seeing how the government is going to put forward a case that this organization, this group, conspired to overthrow the government, conspired to conduct sedition against the government. They're looking at some very serious sanctions. Mm-hmm. Stuart Rhodes is going to trial in the first. Stuart Rhodes, the founder and the president of the Oath Keepers, is going to trial on this case, and the government's going to have to prove that there is a conspiracy, a seditious conspiracy behind January 6th. And look, no one's condoning, what these people did. People who broke in, hit police officers who did these things. That's, obviously that's criminal. The people who are there are people who supported, Blue Lives, people who supported our police. To see what we saw on January 6th, the serious violent crimes when they're committing against law enforcement. I don't think anyone's saying, hey, we're supporting that. But there's another group of people who are there, follow the crowd, were there to support the president at that point in time. So I think there's a distinction in the type of cases. There's a distinction in the type of cases that we see. The same thing goes for people who are expressing their right in the summer of violence. There's people who are out there protesting the right way, and there's people who are burning down buildings, and those people should be prosecuted. And ironically, those people weren't prosecuted. Exactly. But that's a whole different story.
It's a dual standard again.
So we see, again, it's a lot of times the party in power is the party who controls it. But what's interesting is, when you talk about Trump and where's Trump? Where is he? He hasn't said one word to support the people who are supporting him. And I think it's interesting the fact that, a lot of the defenses have been, hey, look, we were listening to our president. We were following him. He's remained silent on January 6th.
I didn't realize that.
He hasn't come out and said, hey, these people are we're just supporting me. So he sort of left them out to dry.
Who didn't stay silent? I just saw this on Tucker last night or a couple nights. Biden. He was at one of his rallies. He lied. He said several police officers were killed that day. No, they weren't.
The only one killed.
The only one killed that day was Ashley Babbitt. And there's nothing going on, nothing happening to that police officer that shot her. Didn't need to kill her.
Yeah. Well, that's if you look at the use of force continuum, he's behind a closed door.
Yep.
You see the firearm coming out. She wasn't entering into that room.
Yep.
There were ways to do what he had to do to keep them out of that secure location.
Yeah.
Without pulling that trigger.
Could have used pepper spray. I mean, there's lots of options he had.
And within seconds, by the way, there were armed officers there on the scene that could have been there to peacefully remove them, or remove them without shooting or killing you.
And the other thing was there's a so-called bomb on the outside. There's a lot going on in that story too, on the outside of the building. That was a plant, and it wasn't. It should have been found, and the police officer or the security guard that's normally there wasn't there. Just happenstance that he wasn't there that day.
No, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, bottom line, it's a bad day. I mean, it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And we're at a point in time now where we're seeing how the government is sorting out these cases. We're seeing plea deals. We're seeing trials being set, and it's going to be interesting to see how the government prosecutes this trial coming up against the Oath Keepers.
It really is. It'll be interesting to see how this whole plays out in November as well.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, always a pleasure, man. You want folks to hit your website, check out on social?
My website, rickmanlawfirm.com. Email me, arickman@therickmanlawfirm.com, 813-999-0502. Handle all cases, state and federal criminal defense.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thanks so much. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up, we're going to have some water talk here with Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us, and he is going to talk about boil water advisories, Labor Day specials, and states that banned water softeners. Water softeners are not good for you in your home. Plus, our feel-good story of the day, Boston officers rescue father and son floating on a cooler in the middle of the ocean. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, everybody. It's the captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy, Brandon Rhymes, a Consumer Quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Fred DeFelice coming up here in just a moment. Waterscience.us, all you want to know about water and more. We got a hot listing here at 9221 New York Avenue in Tampa, 9221 New York Avenue in Tampa. This is, or in Hudson rather. This is a 30-acre commercial property for sale up in Pasco County. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. 30 acres, $2.7 million ask price. And you see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, feel good story of the day. You got Boston officers rescue father and son floating on a cooler in the middle of the ocean. When a father and son's fishing boat hit rock bottom in Boston Harbor, their lives were saved in part thanks to their cooler. 15 minutes of frigid Atlantic waters almost caused the pair to enter hypothermia. 2 officers from the Boston Harbor Police Unit were on patrol when they got the call about a sinking ship. When they arrived on scene, all that could be spotted bobbing out of the water was a turquoise cooler on which the pair were dangling in their life preservers. The whole rescue was caught on the officer's body cam, during which the son requested that the police help his father up before himself. What appears in the video is to be a simple fact of pulling oneself onto the boat belies the fact that the simple act of recruiting muscle fibers becomes extremely difficult in the cold transmitted through the water and the immersion chills of the body 25 times faster than the air. So the cooler was presumptively what saved their life. So they'll set that aside for the next time when they go out on the boat. Another day at boat on the boat there. All right, so we got Fred DeFelice. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, so great to be here.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah. You're the only place where people can really learn about the problems with water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. We try to cover all those different areas, business, finance, and then, this is one of my favorites because, when you think about, life, water is the start of it all.
Water is life.
That's right.
Yep.
And if you don't have it, you're going to need it. And you can go without food for days, weeks even, I think. But when it comes to water, so talk to me about, what happens with this boil water advisories.
Yeah. Well, you see now in, Louisiana and Mississippi, all the problems they're having there. But it's nothing new. Anytime there's a water main break, it happens in Tampa Bay all the time.
Yep.
You hear the boil water advisory. Well, fortunately, people like yourself that have our systems in their homes, they don't have to be worried about that because we take care of that right out at source.
That's right.
Yeah. What they're concerned about when there is a water main break is additional bacteria getting in. A lot of times silt from the sand in the pit, things of that nature.
I saw that on the news, actually. Jackson, Mississippi, the mayor out there, I forgot the name. It's something with a Y, but it's kind of a long name. But he comes out and he says, I'm going to be the most radical governor, mayor in the United States. We're going to have the most radical policies. I'm going to be the most radical. And lo and behold, they're pretty radical, all right. They don't even have drinking water for their people.
They're closing the schools and everything. I mean, it's really bad.
That's what happens when you have leftists, running anything.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's a mayor. So good job out there. Dereliction of duty, Mr. Mayor, for Jackson, Mississippi. Talk to me also about these water softeners. People always think, I got to get a water softener. No, you don't. It's not good technology.
Well, all our friends that move here to Florida, thank God for them. The first thing they say, this water is really bad here. And what's the first thing they hear? Oh, you need a water softener.
Right.
Or they get the postcard in the mail.
Right.
We're going to come and test your water. Next thing you know, it's a salesman coming.
Right.
And the only thing they know to sell is a water softener.
Right.
One of our leads that we went on, and I met with a woman, and I said, did you know that they banned water softeners are outlawed in many, many states? So the next day she wanted to check up on me, so she had a guy come out to sell her a water softener, and she asked him, did you know that they outlawed water softeners? He says, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know. See, this is the problem.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. It's another business model. The business model: mail the postcards, make the phone calls, get out there, test the water, sell them a system. Do they need the system? I don't know. Sell them. We got to have sales. That's what they do. You got Labor Day specials coming up too, don't you?
We do, and we're always honoring our veterans and first responders.
Amen.
And for Labor Day, we really want to honor the hardworking Americans that are contributing to our society and not taking advantage of it. So we're offering that $500 trade-in for an old water softener.
Yes.
Or we'll do free installation towards one of our whole house systems. For your listeners, we're going to give an additional 10% discount.
Oh, good.
And during the same period, an additional 5% discount for all veterans and first responders.
Oh, man, thanks for doing that, Fred. Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us, and he's offering a discount for our listeners out there. So he offers these whole house water systems. I have it on my home, and we love it. The water tastes great. Everybody always compliments on it. So the water's great, and he's offering a $500 trade-in if you want to trade in your old system, also a 10% discount. Reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. You can call or text. Text the word water to 813-917-1894, and a no hassle, no obligation meeting, right, Fred?
Absolutely, and we can just do a simple phone call, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Ask you a few questions. I can tell you exactly what size you need.
Yep.
Don't forget, we're a manufacturer, so we make them for mobile homes all the way to a state-size home.
Nice. Made in the USA.
Made in the USA. All our components are U.S. made. We assemble everything right in our Palm Harbor facility.
Sweet.
And you're dealing with us. There's no sales commissions. It's our family. And I have 3 out of my 5 sons with me right now. And my 9-year-old grandson is helping us with social media.
Nice, getting them into the business. I like it.
Yeah,
something he can handle there, the social media.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. So Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us. Water softeners are the old technology. His technology is the best. Something along the lines of a coconut husk, psyllium husk type thing.
Yeah, the first part of our system is catalytic carbon made from coconut shells, the shell of a coconut.
That's right. Shells.
So it's renewable. Everything about us is state-of-the-art, and it's designed not to pollute the environment. Why did they ban water softeners to begin with? They waste billions of gallons of water. They pollute the environment. Places like California, where they're dealing with droughts, they have to not have you use those.
Yep.
There's several states that already did ban the use of them. And in those communities or in those states, they're really using the same technology we use. It's a proven technology. We've been using it for the last 13 years.
Right.
So we're 100% upfront pricing. There's no gimmicks. There's no surprises.
Nice. I like it, man. Good stuff. Always a pleasure having you in studio. Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us. That is the website, waterscience.us. And, of course, you can reach out to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com. We had a great show today. Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, attorney Anthony Rickman, and, of course, our friend Fred DeFelice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check us out online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time. ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.